All right, well, now for something new and different, we've visited with a couple of United States senators. And now for this part of the program, we're going to have Tony Malkin, the chair of our Sustainability Committee. Tony obviously is also the chairman, CEO, and president of Empire State Realty Trust. And he is going to interview Gina McCarthy, our honored guest, Gina McCarthy. She has been appointed by President Biden to be the first ever White House climate advisor. Gina's been with us in the past when she served as the administrator for the EPA during President Obama's second term. She's also has experience in private equity. She was the director of the Center for Climate and Health and Global Environment at the Harvard Chan School. And she's also been the president and CEO of NRDC, who I know many of you are familiar with NRDC. Tony and SPAC, just a couple of little points here, has led the Roundtable's outreach on sustainability and energy issues for many years through 3 administrations now. And we've already had the opportunity to speak with Gina about our rather robust policy agenda regarding energy and climate. And we tried to coordinate Roundtable members' activities with the White House Center for Environmental Quality. Just last month, we rallied members to make commitments to install energy vehicle charging stations in buildings, to purchase clean power for use in their buildings, and to share data on their energy use in buildings with the research department at the Department of Energy. So we're engaged with them. This is a very important area. We also have some tax provisions, which we've talked with Gina about, concerning the 179D tax provision that I know a lot of you are concerned about. It doesn't really work. We're trying to fix that. And we have our own, what we call EQIP proposal to provide a more rapid depreciation rule for highly energy efficient windows and lighting and HVAC and the like. And so we've got an active agenda. Tony's our leader on these points. Tony, take it away. I know that you and Gina want to talk about this and many, many other issues in this area. So please, the floor is yours. We look forward to it. And thank you, Gina, for joining us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Jeff, and thank you, Gina. Gina, it's great to have the benefit of you and your post at the White House, and it's an honor to welcome you to speak directly to the members of the Real Estate Roundtable. In front of and on behalf of the Roundtable membership and the board, we commit our membership and our convening power to constructive engagement with the Biden administration on climate, energy, and environmental issues. I want to also give thanks to the Office of President Clinton. It's thanks to him that we've had the chance to exchange our thoughts on potential executive department, agency, and legislative policy to support investment return-oriented action by our industry towards the administration's goals, and to discuss some of the accomplishments of our members and to reduce energy consumption and emissions from our buildings. So we've talked about our interest to help the administration achieve its goal to retrofit millions of buildings through the American Jobs Plan. We look forward to collaboration with you to make even more progress. And let's just dive in if you're ready. The Biden administration has pledged to deliver what it calls a whole of government response to the climate crisis. For the benefit of our membership audience, could you expand on what the White House sees as the real estate industry's role in that response? Our industry is touched by the government in so many ways. What does that mean?
Well, first of all, Tony, let me thank you for letting me have this opportunity to chat with you. You're a hero. And also to spend a little time with the Real Estate Roundtable. You know, ready or not, here we come. We got to hang out together. That's what this whole message is. That we're dealing with a climate crisis that deserves all of us to work in partnership with one another and find the best tools that are going to make us move towards a clean energy economy. And the exciting thing about this whole of government approach for me is that the president understood that a couple of things here that come out, I think, very loudly and clearly in the way he thinks about and frames these issues is that, first of all, he sees this as an incredible opportunity. We were just chatting offline a little bit about the fact that we're moving our way out of the pandemic. And that's because the president understood that the people in this country need the government to step up and lead. We have to get out of that crisis. And that is going to open up opportunities for the work that we do together. That's going to be so much fun and so much excitement, because there are so many ways in which the president, as he looked at the American Rescue Plan, shifted to the American Jobs Plan. He shifted to explaining how we need to actually rebuild our economy again, get people back in buildings, get people traveling again, open up opportunities for people to live a full and rich life again. And as we get out of this pandemic, we're beginning to see that happening. And the opportunity there is that this whole of government approach that the president has envisioned is to recognize that it's not just about small interactions. It's about how we all think about growing and reinvigorating our economy again. And he just sees clean energy and moving in clean energy as the biggest opportunity we have to do that. And that's going to take not just a whole of government, but a whole of society approach, Tony. I'm here because we have to be partners in this effort. You know, really, we understand that the commercial buildings and residential buildings that we all enjoy and share and invest in account for 40% of the total energy use in the US. I can't let you hang out. We have to build a partnership together. So while I know that these are difficult times for everybody, I see hope on the horizon. And this president is not going to give up on the idea that if we invest in America again, you and me and every one of us, we will start building that hope again. We will start reopening our buildings. We will start getting people to once again understand that we are a country that is going to lead. And climate is not going to be the exception. It's going to be a driver for all of that, and great union, good paying jobs. So for me, I'm a kid in a candy store right now. I'm excited. And I do think this conversation is an important one, Tony, because we got to get folks excited about reopening again and excited about how we work together. Can't hear you, Tony.
Sorry, your excitement is infectious, first of all. So, and we want to make sure that we can engage with the administration on all topics, really interested on the topic of building electrification, in which our members have had a lot of research in the cost and challenges for the private sector already. And buildings already occupied by tenants especially pose interesting challenges to electrification, district heat, and for instance, and the changes that that might cause. And frankly, we're very focused on the cost of embedded carbon, as we know that to tear something down and rip something out and replace it is in fact carbon generating itself. So we really look forward to share this with the administration. We want to learn more about the GSA's recent commitments to electrify the federal building stock as a proving ground. So, but I think it's important. Maybe that dovetails right into the next question you might want to touch on with the president's prioritization of climate policy since day one. Maybe you could highlight for us what the administration's considers its milestones for its first 5 months in office, and where you hope to see progress for the balance of 2021.
Well, Tony, very succinctly, the president charted a very clear path for us even before he came into office. And the minute he came into office, he issued executive orders that really reflect that path. Number one, he knows we have to get to net zero in 2050. We have to reduce our greenhouse gas emissions in a way that's commensurate with following the science. That's what the United States is all about. We follow the science. This administration is going to see to it. But we also, he's looking for the delivery in 2035 of clean energy. We have to have an electricity sector that is clean so that we can make the kind of progress we need to make. That in and of itself charted a path for us. And it made us understand that it needs to be a process where every agency participates in this. And there's another dynamic here that the president brought into it that's guiding our path moving forward. And that is that he has committed to address the equity and justice challenges that we're facing today, which we can no longer ignore, nor should we ever want to. And part of that means we have to look at how we really invest in improvements in environmental justice communities that have been left behind, so they enjoy the majority or the fair share of the benefits associated with this clean energy economy that we're investing in. And Tony, I think you may remember that we did a White House roundtable not too long ago, focused on the built environment, the building sector. And we wanted to do that because we could show off some of our cabinet members and hang out with everybody and explain why we're going to the Department of Energy, and the Department of Energy is investing in buildings. They are investing in new energy systems. They are investing in the next generation of our clean economy infrastructure. It showed how the transportation sector coordinates with the work that you're doing in buildings, how we could work together to build EV infrastructure, how we could look together to actually develop the systems we need for clean power to be delivered to these buildings. We're investing in the built environment through the American Jobs Plan to actually make sure that we have resources available to partner with the private sector to upgrade these systems that are necessary to upgrade from residential to the commercial environment. And we're going to be working hand in hand. We've identified an opportunity to invest a significant amount of resources in a new accelerator, which many of us think of as a green bank, which is basically an opportunity for different types of investment strategies so that we can get renewables and energy efficiency much more broadly available to communities, especially environmental justice communities, with much more flexible loans and grant programs. So the whole thing is really about bringing, every one of our cabinet to the table and working together, recognizing that we have to deliver and electrify our energy system as much as we possibly can. And to do that, it's going to take the kind of partnerships that we're talking about, Tony. You're right. We started to chat even more than we had before when President Clinton called me and said, get on the phone here. This isn't just about transportation. This isn't just about the utility sector. It's all about buildings too. And the excitement that it brings if we can actually work together to make sure that our building infrastructure is matching up with this 2035 clean energy goal. If we can do that, we can work together to find the right strategies to make this doable from a financial perspective. And we can get people in their homes, in where they work, in where they stay when they're traveling, to get a sense of the excitement and the opportunity that this shift can actually bring to them, and the kind of money savings that it's going to actually offer. And perhaps even more importantly, as people getting out of this pandemic need jobs, it's really going to provide incredible opportunities for job growth in our country. And man, we need it. We need people to feel better about themselves, but this is really all about working hand in hand with the federal government, with states and cities that have been holding the fort, as you know, Tony, over the past 4 years to keep plugging forward on these issues. But it's really moving beyond thinking of climate as a problem, as much as recognizing that we have a problem and its solution is going to be great for everybody because we can design it that way. And that's what the president is doing. He's designed a whole of government strategy that will leave no worker and no community left behind. we'll all benefit from this transition. And anything less, he's just going to get ticked off about. So far be it from me to tell him we can't do it. I'm going to do it.
So, you know, it's interesting when you think about this concept, when he thinks about climate policy, thinks about jobs. That's a quote from President Biden.
Yeah. Yeah.
And when they touched property development, redevelopment, operation, and finance, you know, it raises the question: is the workforce trained? Is the workforce there? Do we have gaps in our labor supply? And what's the administration's view on how we can fill those gaps?
Well, DOE is providing a significant amount of money to address this issue, and we're also working hand in hand with the labor community. The unions are at the table, like I think they feel like they've not been for decades, frankly, because we know this is all about making sure that our country starts moving people out of poverty and into the middle class, because you have to have that growing middle class in order for us to be successful. So when the president talks about making these big infrastructure investments, he's not just looking at roads and bridges, but he's looking at transit systems that can make people get around better. He's looking at investments in water systems so that communities that have been, you know, polluted from, their kids have been endangered from lead in the water system, can get the relief in the joy of having their kids grow up healthy. You know, this is about broadband expansion with economies elsewhere. And all of these issues, and I could certainly go on, but I won't, but all of these issues and investments are really all underpinned by understanding that they are actually going to grow our workforce. And one of the things that the president recognized early on, which I think is important for people to recognize, is that there is no question that the transition from coal to natural gas and from natural gas to clean energy is a shift where we're going to have our labor community engaged in, or else we will lose workers in the process. And so what we have done is established an interagency working group right out of the gate. We already addressed this issue. And the president has made a commitment through this working group that we are actually putting people that used to be in coal back to work again right away, with over $500 million that he's identified. And we're putting additional billions in to the American Jobs Plan so that we can do more and more of this job growth, and working with the labor community to get the training and apprenticeship opportunities to make these transitions. Because as you know, in buildings, there's so many trades that will be benefited by an investment in our building infrastructure, to update it for energy efficiency, to get it renewable energy, to think about how they can actually be part of the job generator in this system. And we can provide opportunities for leveraging federal and private sector dollars to get that done. And so I do think, you know, our shift is making a difference already in communities that have felt the crunch from coal being less available because it's simply not cost effective, and moving that forward. And we've already put you know, coal miners back to work, closing old coal mines that have been spewing methane. We've put, you know, folks back to work in the coal utility sector, now making the shift to take a look at those oil and gas wells that now need to be capped. So there's things going on already in these economic hubs that we've identified to bring our manufacturing sector into play here. So we're looking at this as a larger investment strategy in places like the Ohio River Valley and others that have lost so many jobs. And if we can grab them back, if we can invest wisely, we can make all of the parts of our country stronger, including those that have been divested in.
You know, your comments are incredibly inspiring. Tall hill to climb, for sure. You know, the American Jobs Plan and the infrastructure proposal goal to construct and retrofit 2 million efficient homes and
Yeah.
commercial buildings. What kind of resources come with the jobs plan to help building owners achieve that goal? And I might ask how the roundtable and our members who, we will remain available in the roundtable of which you spoke. There were 5 participants from the Real Estate Roundtable Sustainability Policy Advisor Committee on that call, how we can stay engaged with you and help inform and assist on this process. So the resources, though, is a big question. And so we'd really love to know what your thoughts are.
Well, I can't give you yet the bottom line of all this, but there's significant an amount of money that the president has proposed in the American Jobs Plan to retrofit these 2 million homes and commercial buildings. But there is a group from both sides of the aisle, a bipartisan group that's looking at what's the final that they can agree on to move all of these investments forward if they can. But the president isn't really interested in a plan that isn't bold. He knows that this is the time to move forward. So hopefully those issues will be resolved soon. And there'll be billions of dollars available for us to really spend some time talking about how to maximize that. Partnerships really aren't designed by one side and initiated. It's going to have to be a discussion, and I know that the Real Estate Roundtable is going to have, an opportunity to voice their concerns, both about how the American Jobs Plan investments are made, but also there's lots of discussion on the Hill. I think as Jeff indicated in his introduction, there's all kinds of opportunities available for us to merge federal dollars, state dollars, and local constituencies to figure out how we can work with the building sector and make this money go as far as it can and make the right kind of investments. A lot of programs at the federal level are already up and running that can help. But in all honesty, getting the real estate community engaged in this, whether it's now, even before that, the identification of how much money is going to be spent and through what vehicle is going to be important. We have to keep talking now, Tony, because we've got to know what works and what doesn't. We have to know how we can shape our programs and our investments in ways that are going to maximize the benefits. And I think it's going to be important, not just for the building sector, but this type of engagement, it has to be the way in which we move forward at the federal level, regardless. Because as you and I know, there's big opportunities out there. And if we can't merge the interests of the private sector and the public sector to make that, to grab those, then we're simply going to miss the biggest opportunity of our lives, both to protect the planet, but more importantly, to protect the people that are expecting us, to move forward together.
It's funny, somebody I was chatting with yesterday who made the comment, well, it's planet first, and I responded, no, it's people first.
Absolutely.
Which is really what it's about. And I think look, we look forward not just to communicate to you our concerns, but we also have an immense amount, a wealth of knowledge and experience to date, not just in new construction, also in retrofit. And we've looked at policy, and these are things on which we are focused. I know we've spoken with you about Reg 179D tax deduction to amend that so it's actually utilizable. I know we've spoken about with you about the what we call the EQIP proposal, which is to offer accelerated depreciation for high performance equipment like HVAC and lighting, which go beyond standards, go beyond code. These are improvements. And I just think it's important that we keep in mind that not just this concept of electrification, but as I learned from Amory Lovins, the trailblazer of the Rocky Mountain Institute, the megawatt that is created sustainably and renewably is very important. But the negawatt, which is the megawatt that is never consumed, so long as we can generate negawatts at the same price as we create renewable megawatts, we really need to focus on that energy efficiency piece. So, from our perspective, we would love to do that. We'd love to assist and in any way we can, and really give you an opportunity for a last comment you'd like to make as we wrap up here on ways in which we can engage with you. We've made some climate commitments already at that roundtable. We've got that tenant star,
Yes.
our Energy Star for
Yes.
tenants, which is something that we put through with the Obama administration, and that was actually put in place by the EPA during the believe it or not, during the Trump administration. And whatever we can do to participate with you and communicate, not just in commitments, but to help inform, we will be there for you.
Well, Tony, I know that, and Mark Chambers is working with us and with the Council for Environmental Quality, and he's going to be spearheading some of these conversations. But Amory Lovins is absolutely right, and he's been saying this for a long time. And I think it's time for us really to turn the corner and to start delivering on some of the promises that we've all made. And I think, Tony, as well as I do, is when you think outside the box, good things happen. And so I think it's our job right now in the White House to recognize that we have big goals that we have to achieve, but not to let our path towards those goals be defined by what used to be, or how quickly we can change a code. It has to be more, how do we work together to the benefit of our cities, our families, our children? We have to do better than we've done for the next generation. And I think we're all up to that task if we work together. And so I'm here to tell you that the Real Estate Roundtable is going to have access. We're going to talk. We're going to figure this out together. And I can't thank you enough, because you've been a trailblazer yourself, Tony, but we will figure this out, and we will make progress. And that progress is going to generate more momentum for the future, because you and I know that once you start running, nothing stops. And that private sector then keeps driving that trend. And that's what we're looking for.
Well, I got to thank you so much. And I will let you know that the way I look at it, we've got 3 years and 7 months to go, and let's get to work. So first of all, Gina, a former administrator, I don't know if we call you National Council Advisor, what your right title is. I just think of you as Gina. Thank you so much for your time, and really appreciate it. I know there are incredible demands on you, and again, thank you very much for your time.